श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Sri Sai Satcharitra, an Insight, Episode 73. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan Brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we have been keenly listening to the qualifications elucidated by Baba to the seeker of Brahmanyana. Baba has so skillfully listed the elements to be borne by the aspirant, and surprisingly, they are in the count of 5. Sainath Maharaj sought for a loan of rupees 5, and to coincide, Baba only spoke of Pancha or 5 main pranas, though there are 10 types of pranas, and the other 5 are upapranas. Similarly, there are 10 indriyas which constitutes 5 karmendriyas and 5 jnanendriyas, and Baba indicated only the 5 jnanendriyas. I urge to the listeners to not worry about the Sanskrit terms or the volume of philosophies that are discussed in these chapters, but to patiently listen to these doctrines given by Sadguru Sai Maharaj, as these are listed as the essential attributes to be possessed by a spiritual aspirant. Though in this chapter Baba has given various challenging and intriguing qualifications in detail, and that seems to be very difficult for all to practice, but in the ensuing chapters, Sai Maharaj had professed that trusting and remembering Guru is the greatest and only sadhana for a spiritual aspirant. By this assertion, Baba has reduced our burden to a larger extent and gave much easier and simpler path to attain the goal of life. Now, let us continue to heed to few more qualifications to be possessed by a seeker of Brahmanyana, which are as follows. 1. Mumuksha. 2. Viveka. 3. Vairagya. 4. Antarmukata. 5. Titiksha. 6. Purity of mind. 7. Control of mind and body. 8. Right code of conduct. 9. Necessity of a guru. And 10. God's grace. Out of these 10 qualifications, all of us may not be familiar with the first 5, but the last 5 are easy to contemplate. Number 1. Mumuksha, which means intense desire to get free. Of course, every devotee would beseech God to free them from the various troubles that they are enduring in life and want to get rid of this cycle of birth and death. And this is my prayer too. So, what is more significant about this qualification was my thought. Nonetheless, I am desiring for liberation, so I thought I am also a mumuksha, that is, an aspirant, was my conviction. But when I happened to read the incident quoted in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, then I understood that my thoughts are very basic and the word intense has deeper connotation than I assumed. I would like to share the incident with you all. One day, when Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa was gazing at the holy river Ganges, a disciple came and asked him, Gurudeva, who are mumukshus? Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa is a lover of nature. He would get enthralled whenever he gazes at the beauty of Mother Nature. Also, now and then he would be overpowered with ecstasy. Instantly, in reply to the question raised by the disciple, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, I will show you who is a mumuksha, and immediately immersed his face into the river Ganges. The disciple was in shock and was struggling to breathe. He tried hard to lift his face from the water and began to scream, Gurudeva, Gurudeva. Paramahansa lifted his face out of the water. Now, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa spoke thus, Were you frightened? Don't worry. When your face was submerged in water, you struggled hard to relieve yourself from it. You realized how important it is for you to breathe. Such intense efforts and desire one should have to free themselves from the worldly desires. Such a seeker is termed as mumukshu. Your priority to God should be same as the priority you would give for your breath. Then you are a seeker of truth, said Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Devotees, my intention is not to discourage the listeners, but to give a deeper insight to the term mumukshu. We all are ambitious to be an aspirant, and such devoted and inspired souls are grouped under Parikrama Dharma, which means we are traversing in the path that would lead us to liberation, but that is not the end. We must have burning viraha, God intoxication, and keen longing will only suffice to take us face to face with God. As Baba professed, Brahmanyana is as difficult as walking on a razor's edge. When I read this pronouncement of Sainath Maharaj, I couldn't comprehend how that experience would be, but can certainly assure that it will be the most arduous and venturesome one. And the same has been illustrated by Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa to his disciple through the above incident. To conclude, all those who merely desire for liberation cannot become seekers of Brahmanyana, but had to evolve to a greater extent in the spiritual journey to make themselves a befitting one to attain the ultimate truth. Number 2, Vairagya. Second virtue is Vairagya, which means detachment. This is a compound word, Vai plus Raga. Vai means to dry and Raga means passion, which means the sense of drying up of the passions or renunciation. How should a renunciant conduct himself? We can compare it with a tamarind fruit. When the fruit is unripe, it is hard to remove the shell and take the pulp out, as the shell will be stuck to the pulp. Whereas, when the fruit ripes, the shell will come off by itself and it is easy for us to separate the pulp from the shell. Similarly, until an aspirant abandons the pursuit of material comforts, it is hard to even gain interest to traverse in the spiritual journey. There is always a misunderstanding between the term Vairagya and obstinacy. Vairagya is not being insistent in holding one's opinion, but to let go all attachment that belong to the material world. Unfortunately, most of us are detached from God. In the sense, God becomes our last priority. Fondness is upon all worldly objects except God. Then how can one develop the quality of Vairagya? It is inevitable for everyone to understand the difference between Vairagya and persistence. When someone decides to never talk with his friend or relative owing to some misunderstanding, that can't be termed as Vairagya. Instead, that is being stubborn. Attachment towards God and detachment towards worldly affairs is Vairagya. Number 3, Vivekam is the conscience that differentiates between the real and unreal, or Nitya and Anitya. Nitya is eternal and Anitya is temporary. Let's see which all are transient and which is permanent. All that is pertaining to the body and mind is transient. For instance, our opinion about someone or something keep changing depending upon our thoughts that arise from our unstable mind. Hence, our assertions about that person keeps differing from time to time. Similarly, the body is subject to changes every second. It is never the same. Many cells die and new ones grow simultaneously. Hence, both mind and body are temporary. Then what is Nitya? Bliss and wisdom are permanent. Sat, Chit and Ananda is Satchidananda. It represents nature of reality. Sai is eternal being or truth. Chit is infinite consciousness and Ananda is ever new bliss. So, Satchitananda is absolute bliss consciousness. These are not three different entities, but they are coexistent with Atman. Bliss should not be confused with happiness. Bliss is the real nature of Atman. This is eternal. It is infinite, as nothing is superior than this. Whereas happiness derived from worldly objects is temporary and limited. Hence, we can conclude all that is related to body and mind is transient, whereas Atman is the embodiment of supreme bliss. The ecstasy derived from it cannot be expressed in words and it is permanent. So, the conscious that differentiates between the real and unreal is Viveka. Number 4. Antarmukhata. Turning the mind inward. This can also be termed as Uparati, which means ceasing or desisting from sensual pleasures or worldly actions. When we turn our focus on God, then we will be relieved from these worldly desires. Instead, if we turn our attention to worldly passions, then we will be caught in the clutches of illusion and had to remain in the whirlpool of birth and death. Mind is the cause of bondage and freedom. So, always keep your focus on the pure, unchanging, all pervading, and everlasting Atma. Number 5. Titiksha. Baba states that a spiritual seeker need to cultivate the quality of titiksha in addition to the above 4. Titiksha is fortitude. Acharya Shankara defines in his Viveka Chudamani as that character by which we complain not against existing conditions. Do not make an adverse remark about prevailing circumstances, and do not feel agony about existing situations. Therefore, titiksha implies withdrawal from a temptation to retaliate on the external conditions. Number 6. Purity of mind. This is the primary requirement for a seeker of truth. Be contented, live where you may, but discipline the mind and the senses. Meditate on the inner self ceaselessly. Then you will find the everlasting peace. Mind will stop deceiving you only when the mind becomes pure. Then the seeker can cross this ocean of worldly life and enjoy the highest bliss. Number 7. Control of mind and body. Omniscient Baba has beautifully explained control of the mind and the senses with the help of the model of a chariot. As per this analogy, the chariot is the body, the horses are the 5 senses. The reins in the mouth of the horses is the mind. The charioteer is the intellect, and the passenger seated behind is the soul residing in the body. The senses, that is, the horses, desire pleasurable things. The mind, the reins, is not exercising restraint on the senses, that is, on the horses. The intellect, that is, the charioteer, submits to the pull of the reins. So, in the materially bound state, the bewildered soul does not direct the intellect in the proper direction. Thus, the chariot is under the control of the senses and the passenger is moving around in this material world since eternity. However, if the soul wakes up to its higher nature and decides to take a proactive role, it can exercise the intellect in the proper direction. The intellect will then govern the lower self, the mind, and the senses, and the chariot will move in the direction of eternal welfare. In this way, the higher soul must be used to control the lower self, that is, the senses, mind, and intellect. The above elucidation was given by Baba to the seeker of Brahmanyana. Astoundingly, the narration of Sainath is very similar to what is expounded by Lord Krishna to Arjuna in controlling the mind and the senses. And this has been illustrated in Kathopanishad as quoted under Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 43. Devotees, isn't this amazing? How is Baba aware of all these commentaries? He came to Shiradi as a young lad, in which Vedic school he might have learnt all these Upanishads and Vedas. Obviously, he doesn't require any such formal learning as he himself is all-knowing Parabrahman, and it is his very nature being a repository of wisdom. Chapter 1, Part 3, 3rd and 4th verses from Kathopanishad is as follows. Atmanagvam ratinam vidhi shariram ratamevatu buddhihim tu sharadim vidhi mana pragrahamevacha indriyani haya ahurvisha yaneteshu gocharan atmendriya manoyuktam boketye hurmanishinaha. Commentary. It says, there is a chariot which has 5 horses pulling it. The horses have reins in their mouths, which are in the hands of a charioteer, and passenger is sitting at the back of the chariot. Ideally, the passenger should instruct the charioteer, who should then control the reins and guide the horses in the proper direction. However, if the passenger has gone to sleep, the horses will be holding sway. But if the passenger is alert, then the horses can be brought to control and can reach the destination without delay. Number 8. Right code of conduct. The seeker must discipline oneself in the matter of diet, sleep, live without the feeling of I-ness, get purity of the heart, hear the truth, abide in the self, and must be free from selfishness, as that would prompt a man to do sinful acts, and have a strong determination to realize God. Must have a calm mind and be happy. Number 9. Necessity of a Guru. We have discussed in length and breadth about the necessity of a Guru. It is evident that knowledge of self can be attained only by the grace of the Guru or the spiritual preceptor. The aspirant gets obstacles or impediments, dangers, pitfalls on the spiritual path. He will have to be very careful in sadhana also. A Guru who has realized the self is imperatively necessary for the aspirant for his guidance. Otherwise, he will not be able to make even an iota of progress in spirituality. Number 10. God's grace. The last but not the least virtue to be possessed by an aspirant is the sincere and intense thirst to know God. Studying religious scriptures, contemplating on what is being studied, chanting the name of God incessantly would develop devotion to the Lord, and finally surrendering to God would earn God's grace to the one who has purified his body and mind. The one who possesses all these qualifications will certainly be a right person to receive the divine light and drink the nectar of immortality. So, now we have heeded to all the 10 qualities, that is, in multiples of 2 times 5, which equals 10, and the number 5 signifies rupees 5 that Baba wished to borrow as loan. Now, in this connection, I would like to share some significant narration from the Tamil Vedic scripture by named Kaivalya Navanitam. This book must have been authored almost during Baba's period. This book is loaded with philosophies related to Atma Sadhana, and it contains profound illustrations which is awe-inspiring. The commentaries on this book exactly reflects almost all the assertions made by Baba related to the qualifications of Brahmanyana. It was astounding and inconceivable, and my silly mind pondered how can Baba expound perfectly the commentaries given in this book under verse 8 in his discourses in Shirdi to that rich person who approached him for the knowledge of Brahmanyana. I wish to share those interesting facts with the listeners. The above mentioned 10 qualifications have been quoted in the book Kaivalya Navanitam under different headings, and we are going to be amazed at the connections while we compare this text with Baba's pronouncements in the next episode. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.